Good morning and welcome back. Students, today in this second part of the video on Precis Writing, I'll tell you about how to write a good Precis. But before we proceed, let's have a quick recap of the first part of the video on this topic. In my first video, I have told you that Precis is actually a French word which means to precise. So Precis writing means to write the gist of a paragraph or passage in brief. We have also discussed that how is it different from summary writing and paraphrasing. I have also mentioned about the 5 essential elements of a good Precis, and what are they? Clarity, conciseness, coherence, completeness and unity. Okay, next I told you about the steps you should follow for writing a good Precis. And the first step was reading. You have to read the passage at least thrice thoroughly and carefully. Then next is outline. You have to prepare a mental outline for the Precis while reading it. Means try to retain the important points or ideas in your mind. Next step was understanding the paragraph. Then comes underlining. Underline the important ideas and essential points from the original text. Next that I told you about was regarding the title. Up till now you are very well familiar with the passage, its subject and what the author wants to convey. So at this stage you can supply a good title to your Precis. Students, still here we have already done that day, right? Now, after this preparation, you are ready to attempt the writing of the Precis. Begin with making a rough draft. Jot down the important points. Here I would like to mention some do's and don'ts which you should keep in mind while framing your draft. So, the most important thing is you should use your own language. Don't ever copy the sentences or phrases from the original passage. Remember this thing, because a Precis must not be a patchwork made up of phrases and sentences quoted from the original source. Then, while writing your draft, edit all the unnecessary details, leave out the superfluous ornamental and roundabout expression, like if any figures of speech are used, any simile, metaphor, etc. Okay, or any kind of repetitions or illustrations are there, edit them. Remove idioms or quotations if there are any, and also any personal comment made in parentheses, that is in brackets. So remove all these details, unnecessary details. Then start with writing down 1 or 2 sentences highlighting the general theme of the original text. Further, always remember that you have to write a Precis in indirect speech, third person and past tense. Remember, in indirect speech, third person and past tense. Except when the original writing is about some contemporary problem or it describes some eternal truth, then you can use the present tense. Okay. Next point is art of compression. This means that you are not bound to follow the original order of thought as is given in the passage when you summarize. But if you can express its meaning more clearly and concisely by transposing any of its parts, you can do it. Means you can change the sequence of thoughts and ideas for a better presentation, because remember, the objective of writing a Precis is to make the reader understand the main essence of the paragraph in a shorter form. Here, you have to keep in mind one more thing, that is word limit within which it must be compressed. Now, what happens? Sometimes the number of words in the original text is written in the brackets at the right bottom of the passage. In such a case, it's easier for you. Okay, but if no word limit is given, then you have to reduce the passage and compress it to 1/3 of its original length. And for this, what you have to do is to count the number of words in the passage quickly and then divide them by 3. A plus or minus of 5% words of the 1/3 of the original is generally acceptable. It is permissible. So don't exceed or reduce more than 4 or 5 words. Okay. Then another thing is that you can break the précis into suitable paragraphs if it is lengthy. And another thing that you have to keep in mind, that avoid giving your personal opinion. Stick to the source. Okay. Last step before writing the final fair copy of your draft is revision. Check the length of the précis you have prepared. Compare it with the original text to see that you have not omitted any important point. See whether it reads well as a connected whole, and correct any mistakes in spelling and punctuation and grammar. If there are any mistakes, correct it. Then finally prepare the fair copy neatly and prefix the title you have chosen. So students, in this way, if you follow these steps and practice a little, you can easily master this art of précis writing. It is actually an art, and in this video I have tried to discuss the steps necessary for writing a good summary. Hope it will help you. Thank you.